What is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. So if you watched the last video, it was really unexpected. Ended up picking up another E46 sedan, which is not my favorite car at all. Like, I didn't plan on buying two of them or even one of them in the first place, but the second one is in much better shape. And overall, I think it's gonna be better for me in the long run to basically swap the important and good bits off of kind of like the worst chassis and put on the good one. Since I just got that and it's like almost February, I'm pretty pumped because I want to basically start drifting like next season, maybe go to a skid pad or whatever, because I've never done it, so I want to try it. So I want to actually bring the cars in here and do it now because like I'm actually motivated. So plan is to bring the cars in here and basically start tearing them apart while I actually feel like doing it. This speeder top is still not mounted, but I have the mount fully made, welded. I know it's gonna work. I just have to drill a couple holes and basically wet sand and polish the speeder top, but that can be done whenever. So I'm gonna just move some stuff around here, make some room, and that basically requires moving every single car in the garage, except for maybe the Miata. It might just stay right where it is. So I'm gonna go grab some keys and we're gonna move everything out of the garage, kind of shuffle it around, put it back in, and then hopefully start digging into one or both of the E46s. So that should be pretty interesting, and we'll see what we find. Hopefully nothing crazy, and we'll see how far we get. Let's get to it. Kind of just going through the whole garage, cleaning stuff out. Bunch of stuff I have to throw out. Corvette's gone. It's just sitting outside. And then my plan is I'm actually going to take this out and put the S15 there and then bring the Corvette back in and then basically store that somewhere because it doesn't need to be in here. I'm not working on it. And it's just collecting a lot of dust. Also want to take a minute. A lot of people ask me about this car. They see this kind of in the background and I'm not doing anything with it. So basically I bought this car like in the spring of 2019. And this is what I wanted before I found the S15 we got the Varietta. This is actually what I was looking for, like a nice clean sedan R34, because this is like what I've always wanted. But then the S15 popped up, so I just got that. So luckily enough, I was doing a few cars on the side for my buddies, like putting body kits on and painting the cars. I did a Miata and an FRS. So basically the money from those cars went into this, and I bought this because this popped up like, I'm gonna say maybe 4 months after I bought the S15. And so that would have made absolutely no sense to buy this right after that because like obviously that was a big project in itself, but just the fact that this came up semi-local, it was like 3 or 4 hours away. I knew that prices and everything were going up. So I knew that if I didn't buy this now, I would either have to spend way more money or I wouldn't be able to justify it considering what these things are worth now. I had a pretty good plan of like doing like a crazy wide body, fix the body kit, get some super wide wheels, like try and like outdo my S14 with this car. So that car had like 6-inch lips in the front, 8-inch in the back, and I was gonna do like 8 in the front, 10 in the back, just to say that I did it. So now it's good, like the car is worth more money, like that's cool, but I didn't buy it for that reason. And I don't plan on selling it just to make money on it. But it's just like deep down, it really sucks because I don't really want to ruin a car that's actually worth like, you know, quite a bit of money now. So yeah, this thing basically just sits now because I'm not exactly sure what to do with it, honestly. But I've had like a lot of people comment and ask about this car that's sitting in the background. So this is actually like the car that I wanted to buy when I bought the S15. We just couldn't find like a nice clean one for the money that I was looking to spend, and then this popped up. It's basically just been sitting on the back burner since like I bought the house, whatever, and then like I did the S15, and now I have other stuff going on. So I'm basically just gathering parts and stuff for this thing over time. But yeah, it's extremely clean. It only has like 68 or 69,000 kilometers on it, and like the interior is mint. It's a GTT, but it is automatic, which does suck. But I mean, it's pretty much brand new. It's got some really sketchy Japanese wiring stuff going on, but it runs like really good. It's awesome. I don't know. Like I said, I bought this thing like I think like almost 4 years ago, and I've never driven it. It's never been on the road. Like it is in my name and stuff, but I've never driven on the road. So now I guess my plan for this car, I have the Urus D1 Spec 1 body kit, which is actually what was on like the famous Blitz R34 Ken Nomura. And that was what I was going for, just a stylish 90s kit. So I do have the rest of the kit, so I'm gonna fix it because it needs a lot of fiberglass work. I think I'm just gonna paint match it to the car and then maybe do something with like vinyl, you know, not like a livery, but a stripe or something just to kind of like spice it up a little bit. And then probably just some really nice like monoblock wheels, probably 18s in like decent spec would be really cool for this car, and it would just be nice and simple. And then I don't actually ruin the car because it's just bumpers and stuff. I can just take them off and it's still a stock car. But yeah, that's not gonna be anytime soon. So I just thought I'd give you guys a little update on this car, let you know what's going on. But yeah, it's not gonna be in here for much longer. I'm gonna take it out right now and probably blow it off, clean it off a little bit, and then gonna put the S15 here, bring the Corvette back in, and then we'll have this whole side, this whole half of the garage will be basically tearing apart BMWs, putting BMWs back together. Just gonna pull this thing out now and pick it up from there. As you can see, everything's moved around. This is just leaning up here. This is not going to be here, but S15 is safe in a bubble with the Corvette. And then we left the Miata kind of out in the open because we are eventually going to do some stuff to this. So kind of need it easily accessible. And then I've kind of started to get into the BMW a little bit. I got it up like in the air quite a bit. I found some pretty unexpected rust issues, and also, not that it matters, but random broken springs. Both rear springs are just broken. The other car has coilovers. Doesn't really matter for this car because it's going to get that. I've actually really been debating pretty hard on this because there is more rust on this car than I thought there was. When I went and bought the car, I was told that there was zero rust, which is definitely not the case. Like I said, there's that soft spot in the floor on the driver's side, but I went and I took the side skirts off and I found some pretty not good stuff. Weighing my options, basically fixing little holes like by the jack spots in the front is like gone. This side on the back is solid, but the other side is really bad. You can see there's literally nothing left of it, which really sucks. I'm bummed about it. I don't want to talk about it, but it's not as good as I thought it was, but I'm still leaning towards this car being better than the other one. So what I'm gonna do is get into taking the rear subframe out, and that will actually tell us if this car is worth it or not. We're gonna take a look at the subframe mounts and stuff like that. I want to reinforce them if the car is at least good. Like if it's fine, I still wanna reinforce them and then put the subframe and everything out of the other car in this one. and basically like my whole, you know, original plan was, and we'll hopefully get that done fairly quickly, but we'll see, because this thing is quite rusty. We'll see how it comes apart. Anyways, I'm just gonna get into it and start ripping this thing apart. Got the shock off, got the caliper off, got that spring out because it's broken in bits. Now the next thing to do would be drop the exhaust. Well, I don't really know if this is like a normal BMW thing, but it's one piece all the way up to the front, and then somebody welded what I'm assuming would have been a flange of some kind. They just welded it, so it's literally solid from like the head of the car to the back of the car, which is crazy. There's no joints anywhere. So I got the Sawzall. I'm just gonna cut it right behind the subframe, well, I guess in front, right in front of the subframe, and then basically get rid of the axle back section, drop that off, and then I can just drop the subframe straight down, and I should hopefully have no issues, and try and get this unbolted from the hangers. Exhaust has been beautifully removed. Trying to get this drive shaft off the diff, and then I think I'm pretty much ready to undo the subframe bolts and hopefully drop the whole subframe. Finally got these drive shaft to diff bolts out, but now I can't get the drive shaft to separate from the diff. This brace is in the way, so I can't like get a pry bar between the diff and the drive shaft, so I'm gonna have to actually start like taking out the subframe bolts. There's like weird little 13s here that hold to the chassis, and then the big 18, that's the main mount. And then hopefully I can just remove this and then get between the drive shaft and the diff and pop it off. Then we should be moving. Nice, I was a little worried about that. Now with that gone, should be able to pop this drive shaft off. Everything is undone. I'm just undoing these lower control arms, I guess. I have no idea BMW terms, but just undoing those. And I basically just got these back two subframe mounts. Obviously I got the jack underneath it. It's the next day now, but I got the subframe out last night. It actually came kind of straight out, which was no problem. I've been inspecting and looking at things. The subframe mounts in these areas that are usually prone to cracking and, you know, breaking apart basically, look solid for what this car is otherwise. So it's actually okay. I'd probably be fine to put the other subframe in here, but I do want to reinforce this. So I'm not gonna buy a kit, even though they're only like, you know, 150 bucks or whatever. I'm just gonna get some metal, and basically I'm gonna make some cardboard templates. I think the two front ones and then the two back ones will be the same. So make a couple templates, trace them out on some metal, cut them out, and then clean all this up and just weld some metal on there. It shouldn't be too big of a deal. I was gonna make some templates, but this place is a mess, so I decided to just clean up pretty good. And I ended up putting the subframe on a couple dollies that I had. It just makes it easier to kind of roll it around and get it out of the way. Overall, I'm honestly kind of surprised that the subframe mounts aren't cracked or any other issues, because like I said, this chassis is a lot worse than I thought it was. I was pretty misled on it. Now that I have gotten into the car and I know everything about the car, I've seen a lot of the car now. That is the only thing that sucks more than the other car. I'm gonna reinforce the subframe. It's not a big deal. So that other side is the biggest negative to this car. And honestly, I would rather spend, you know, a couple days cutting and welding that back together, and yeah, just kind of patching it up. It's not gonna be perfect, but I'd rather do that than have to worry about all the wiring harnesses and making the other car run right, putting power steering in the car, fixing the gas leak, all that stuff. So I still think it's fine, whatever. I'm pretty bummed about the car in general, but it is what it is. So in the next video, I think I'm actually gonna start cutting that rocker all apart and kind of like seeing how far gone it actually is. Start rebuilding a few pieces here and there, whatever. And then definitely I'm gonna try to make the subframe reinforcements, get them welded in, so that's all done. That's gonna do it for this video. Like I said, kind of sucks, but whatever. It's just a little bit more work, and instead of just dropping the subframe and then pulling the other car in here and dropping that subframe, I'm gonna do the metal work on the body at the same time as this, because like it's in here, we got all the room, we got it all set up, so I might as well just do everything now. I might even get into, you know, grinding the body. I'm not gonna get super picky with like welding patches and stuff, like in the quarter panels and the fenders and whatever, because I really don't care about this car. So it's probably just gonna be grind, kick and fill, make it good enough. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in seeing how I'm gonna save this total E46, then you should come check out the next one. So that's gonna do it for this one, and I will see you in the next one.